If you're a big swim team and you like to order a lot of gear, maybe you ought to check out Swim Outlet Team Division for these reasons. Swim teams receive a 10% discount on bulk orders. Swim teams or organizations get an 8% commission on referred sales. You'll also like their customization services, which is affordable and available at all times during the year for all team gear. With over 50,000 items in stock, you can get most anything you want. Swim Outlet Team Division. You need to try it out. You'll be glad you did.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Morning Swim Show on Thursday, January 9th, 2014. I'm your host, Jeff Cummings. On yesterday's show, we brought you part one of my interview with Tom Shields, and we talked about his transition into being a post-grad swimmer and how he approached his fall season with travel to the World Cup. In part two today, we focus primarily on the duel in the pool, and he tells us how he learned he was added to the roster and why he was glad he went to Scotland. I want to talk about the duel in the pool now. You weren't on the original roster when it was announced back in October. You were one of Ryan Lochte's replacements after his injury. When USA Swimming came to you, was it an immediate yes for you, or did you have to think about it?
I had to think about it. I was already committed to a meet in Oklahoma. I had been to that meet, the Chesapeake Elite meet, I believe it's called now. But I went back when it was called the Pro-Am or whatever. And I really wanted to go again, so I was kind of hesitant. I was on a trip with the junior team in Beijing and Tokyo when they had asked me through Jack Roach. And it was just, Jack was very helpful. He wasn't too pressuring, but he was trying to look at it from a purely what would be the benefit for me standpoint, and he was able to convince me to go, and I believe it was the correct decision. But yeah, it did take me like at least 20, 30 minutes to decide. But I probably should have thought about it more, but it just seemed like a kind of home run situation.
Yeah, well, I think looking at the outcome, definitely was a home run in many ways, like I said. You won the 100 fly, you won the 200 fly, and broke your own American record. You're part of both winning relays. What was the team atmosphere like on Team USA after the first day when the Europeans were leading?
It was a little down, but not like anything crazy. And only by down I mean that it's just a lack of excitement. It was just like, okay, well that is where we are now, and like cognitively understand, because it was pretty late at night. We cognitively understood where we need to be the next day. With all of us being either in college, going to be in college, or having been in college, we kind of understand how dual meets work, being Americans. So I think everyone kind of knew what was expected. And I remember sitting down with Jack and Frank and Tyler Clary and just kind of like looking over the day two and seeing, where we can pick up some extra points. And then I kind of volunteered for the 100 back, even though it was a couple minutes before the 2 fly. And I think that was a good decision. I got to get silver. I got to get silver from Eugene. So we won that event, and I think that was kind of a critical aspect of the meet, for at least from my perspective. But there was a lot of that going on after day one, and I think that was cool to see. A lot of people trying to, pick up more points, how we can shave off the European lead. So I think that was a really cool atmosphere.
And then after the meet, we learned that you were a very big part of helping assemble that mixed medley relay that helped decide the meet.
I think that got a lot more pub than it actually was. I think that's where they were going to end up anyways, just with the mere fact that if you look at the medley relay guys, Jimmy and myself were going to have swam the 400 free relay, and Kevin and Eugene obviously were not. On top of that, Kevin and Eugene are pretty accomplished 50 swimmers, whereas while Jimmy is also an accomplished 50 swimmer, I am not so much an accomplished 50 butterfly compared to my 100 butterfly. So I think it was a home run to have those guys go. And I think having the males lead off first makes sense, because you get, open water. You get the breaststroker as a dude, and like the breaststroker being the slowest one of the 4 strokes, then you kind of want that one to be the fastest possible. That just kind of makes sense. And that was, Frank was already there by the time I talked to him. I just walked by and I was just like, hey, like, I don't know what you're thinking about. All I know is, like, from watching the Australians and being at the World Cups this year, like, dudes first makes perfect sense. And then I went and swam my race, and that's all I really said.
At any point, did you throw your name in there and say, maybe, if Eugene doesn't want to do it, or, maybe you think I'm better as the backstroker or anything like that?
Are you kidding me? I think I kind of pride myself on knowing where I am in the sport, I guess, and there's not a doubt in my mind that 50 short course backstroke that Eugene was the guy to go with. I mean, even just realistically looking at my NCAA career in the 100 backstroke, like I went 45-0 going out 22-3, which is not very fast. That's almost, half of, like I almost had to even split that to go 45-0 my sophomore year. All year on the World Cup this year, I would come back 25-5, which is what Tillman comes back in his world record, and I'd miss it by 2 seconds. Like, I'm very aware of my slowness in the first 50 of a 100 backstroke, and that's not going to change just because I don't have that back 50. Eugene is an incredible backstroker, incredible underwaters, incredible at the start. He was 100% the guy to go with, and he showed up. I think he almost broke the world record and American record. I think it's 22.6, but that's suited. And I would like to say that that's the textile best that he went, but I'm not knowledgeable enough in the event to say that with any certainty.
All right, so Team USA wins the mixed medley relay. Not just you personally, but just the whole team. What was the environment like that, in the minutes after that relay was over?
It was hands down the most exciting, electric feeling I've ever experienced at a meet that wasn't NCAA's. I kind of have to give that reservation because NCAA's is such a long season. Like, even if you just look at it from January to March, where, you kind of like cut out, who, like, these guys are the guys you're going to be moving forward with, and you have 2 to 3 months to figure out how you're going to get that campaign together. And you move through that, with people every day. So that electricity is just something of its own. But in a meet where I come together with a group of people that some of them I know, some of them I don't know, some of them, I never even really knew were there because of the sheer amount of, 60 people, 55 people on the trip. And we met on a Monday, and then we raced Friday, Saturday. Like that type of electricity I've never really seen happen before. And so that was really cool to see, and it gives me a lot of hope into pushing forward from here and having more duel in the pools and having more dual meet type performances happen on TV, happen in the professional range, because I think that's where swimming can be really, really exciting. That's what America, in my opinion, wants to see is team sports. Those are the sports that do really well. So I'm just excited for that to move forward.
Yeah, I think after
it was just an unbelievable electric experience.
Yeah, I think after the result of this past meet, I think the next one's going to be in the United States. I think it's going to be packed to the rafters. Everybody's going to show up to really put in their support, which it's always been a very supportive me in the States, but I think it's definitely going to be more so the next time around.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope we can make it just as exciting.
Maybe not down to the last, really.
Yeah.
So after you leave Colorado Springs, what's next for you? What's the next meet for you?
Well, we leave Friday for home, spend the weekend at home, change gear, head out to Austin for the Austin Grand Prix, then we come home again. And then from there, I have no idea. I just kind of take things one step at a time. I'm going to sit down with Durden sometime in the next few weeks and just try to map out how we're going to work my last semester of schooling in with gearing up for Pan Pacs. But other than that, there's a couple meets been tossed out from the group that we might go to, but I have absolutely no idea, so I don't want to confirm or deny any attendance. But I'm absolutely positive that I will be at Austin Grand Prix.
Well, that's good. It's probably a weird feeling to know that here you are in January and you don't have that meet the third weekend of March to look forward to.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's weird to be done with short course when the rest of the world is done with short course. And I'm not going to lie, it's pretty nice to kind of get these couple months to get together and get actually now it makes sense why the Grand Prix are long course now. Like starting in January moving forward, it's like, that's the way the whole world works except for NCAA's. And I didn't even really realize that until, I guess now, or I just didn't even really cognitively think about it. But it's really cool. I think it's going to be a great year for me in that I don't kind of have that, not a distraction, but just something else going on. So I'm just really excited to kind of move on past that and move into professional swimming.
Well, I know you got a lot more work to do there in Colorado Springs. Before we go, though, Tom, we're going to submit you to our final five questions we ask all of our guests on the Morning Swim Show.
Oh, all right.
First one, I know you're not an IMer, but we ask it of everybody, even the non-IMers. If you could change the order of strokes in the individual medley, how would you change it?
Get rid of breaststroke.
You can't get rid of it. You can't
get rid of it? We had this argument at length at the World Cups this year which way it was about the 100 IM, and I don't know if that's what the question's about, but I'll keep it to that. And I think what we landed on is you do breaststroke first, you still end with freestyle, but to get in that, you end with fly to get in that freestyle flip turn, so you go third free and then backstroke second.
Okay, that's nice, not bad.
Yeah. Just gotta get in more flip turns and get breaststroke out of the way off the dive.
And you got to do it. You got to do that breaststroke legally, Tom.
Yeah, I'll try.
What's a career or job you would like to try?
I would like?
Yes.
Oh, totally. I want to own a taco restaurant someday. That's been my absolute dream for the last 2, 3, 4 years.
I have never heard anything remotely close to that response before.
Okay, well, that's what I've always wanted to do. So.
I like it. I like it very much.
Thanks.
All right, on the flip side of that, what's a career you would not like to have?
I don't want to ever do it like a 9 to 5. I just think and maybe I'd love it, but from sitting here, from not having done one, it just seems like a lot of time to be in a sitting position. So that's just a personal thing.
Okay. What's a rule in the swimming rule book that you would like to change or add?
Man, I'm not gonna lie. What's been happening with breaststroke these last couple of years is kind of hard to watch, and I don't want to be too controversial. I know it's kind of a hot button issue, but I'd kind of like to see it get fixed somehow, and I don't know how to fix it. I'm not a breaststroker. I don't know what's gonna happen with that, but it just seems from watching a lot of video from all over the world, it's just there's nobody, one person can really explain the right way or the wrong way. There's so many different opinions, and so why can't we just consolidate that rule to try to set it back to a stroke instead of an interpretation of a stroke, in my opinion.
Well, that's very interesting, Tom. Every butterfly or every backstroker on the show, or at least most of them, say get rid of the 15-meter rule. So I totally expected you to say that.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be fun if we could get 2-lane pools with glass boxes for everybody to watch, but this is a sport that we're trying to become an entertainment entity. I mean, at least that's what I hope we want to do, and getting rid of the 15-meter rules wouldn't do that. It would create more obscurity for our sport, in my opinion.
Okay, very interesting. Last question for you, Tom. Where do you like to go for vacation?
I want to go to Hawaii or Bali or Mentawai, but probably Big Sur or somewhere in the Pacific Northwest because I can drive there. I don't have much time off, but those are some places that I would love to go to.
Sounds like these are places where you can get some big waves.
Yeah, not huge, but doable.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. That's great. You don't want to get too many big waves. I mean, I've seen those. Those are scary.
Yeah, I would like to build my way up there, but not while my career is still happening. Because I am quite timid out in the water, still to this day. Part of it's due to just basic fear, but also it's this knowledge of okay, dude, this is going to be fun, but do I want to risk my entire career just because I wanted a 15-foot wave? It's no, I'll just wait, put that on the shelf for now. So someday I'd love to get up into the 15-foot range, but I think anything bigger than that is kind of out of my doability. Okay. If that's a word.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Doability. Yeah. If it's not a word,
yeah.
Tom Shields has made it a word.
Yeah, sure.
Well, Tom, thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate it. Have a good time the rest of the time in Colorado Springs. Tell everybody at Berkeley, on the Berkeley team, said hi.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
All right. So that's going to wrap it up for our morning swim show here. Be sure to stay with swimmingworld.com for the latest swimming news. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. I'm Jeff Cummings. Thanks for watching.